For ankle pails rails, we're gonna need a slant board, and I like to set up parallel where my foot is running alongside versus up against this direction. But you can play around with position because ultimately the position doesn't need to look like mine. We just need to be able to train the tissue that we're targeting. So I'm gonna be kind of at a slightly open, maybe like 45-degree angle here with my toes. I'm gonna load into the leg and the foot that are on the slant board. And for this one, we wanna make sure that the heel can stay down and my big toe is down. You're probably gonna need to bend into your quad and into your knee a little bit. And then you're just going to push or invert your foot towards the slant board. And we're searching for a stretch sensation in that outside stuff. You might get some things underneath the foot, you might get some things along the calf, but that's the first position that we're looking for. This is the passive stretch portion, so I'm not really doing any other work other than just trying to find a stretch alongside of the outside of my ankle stuff, right along there. So we're gonna hold here for about a minute to a minute and a half in the passive position. And then after we've established that that's the tissue that we wanna work, and that's what the point of the passive stretch is. The point of the passive stretch is to identify where we're gonna load into. We're gonna go into what's called a PAILS contraction, meaning we're going to stay in this position, but we are going to push down hard through our big toe. We're gonna try to flatten out our arch, which can be a little bit tricky cognitively, but think about it, and then really strong heel. So we're pressing down as much as we can. The stuff that was just on stretch is now contracting into the ground. And we can do this PAILS contraction at different intensities. Those intensities will be programmed for you depending on what physical outcome we want there to be. The only thing we don't want to feel is pinching, so you could get burning, pins and needles, effort, Charlie horse, all that stuff, all that different discomfort is safe, but we just do not want to feel pinching. And then the other thing that we're gonna do when we're in this position is do what's called a rails contraction. And so the rails is pretty much the opposite of the PAILS, meaning we were pushing down and we were trying to be really heavy on all of this tissue and all of this length on this side, this inside of the calf. But now what we're gonna do is we're not gonna change the position, but we're gonna try to get daylight under the foot. So as you can see, like kind of pulling my toes up, I want to try to contract all of this stuff, but I still have all my body weight in that foot. And now I'm just trying to lift and contract away from the slant board. So PAILS, pressing down, rails, pulling up and shortening, all that stuff. And similarly, this can be done at different intensities, which will be programmed for you. Anytime you finish a PAILS rails, regardless of what body part it is for, we're always going to follow it up with gentle cars for that body part. Typically a couple of repetitions will do the trick.